All right, to the president, who is getting set to send his 2012 budget to Congress next week, and along with it, a message. Prepare yourselves for some serious belt tightening. Items on the chopping block include several key programs on the president's agenda, such as environmental and economic development programs. I'm joined by two of California's Democratic representatives, Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez and Congressman Adam Schiff. Good to see both of you. Thank you for coming in.
Always a pleasure to be here.
$775 million on the chopping block, but a fraction when you're talking about a trillion and a half deficit in this budget. So is it going to really amount to real change, or is this all window dressing, Congresswoman?
Well, piece by piece, every little piece that we bring down, I think, is important. I mean, really, some of the more major programs, the redoing of Medicare, the health care reform, those are where we see real savings happening. That's why it's so distressful when we see the Republicans in particular saying we need to get rid of health care reform. I mean, we've really been trying to hit the places that are important. Also, the two wars that we're in, we really need to figure out how to get out of there. That's about $8 to $10 billion a month.
But in the meantime, the Republicans are talking about $30+ billion in cuts. Where's this all going to come down? Where should it come down? Is $775 million even close to being enough?
Oh, well, $775 million isn't close to be enough, but it's just part of what the administration is forecasting for what they're going to release next week. The cuts are going to be, very serious and quite devastating to many, because what we're talking about is a small percentage of the budget, non-security, domestic discretionary funding. And to get those kind of cuts out of that small piece of the budget pie is going to mean some serious reductions in community development block grants, community service block grants, and a whole host of programs that are very important to people. So I think we're going to see a lot of pain in the president's budget, but we're also going to see some important investments in the country's future in terms of renewable energy, education, things that can make us competitive on the world stage.
But he is talking about some of those cuts and things that frankly had been pet projects of his. Environmentalists, advocacy groups, a lot of them are already not happy, even at this number, $705 million. So how does he manage that? And is he doing the right thing, even if this seems largely symbolic?
Well, the first thing we need to remember is that the monies that we should spend should be investment monies. And I would always err on the side of the American people, giving them more education, on transportation, on communication, things that will make us more productive in the long run. Included in that would be the research, the energy independence, the greening of America. Those are new industries we create here, and then we bring them across the U.S., and then we sell it to the rest of the other nations. So that's important. But again, where you're going to get the real money, where we're really looking, and this is why about a year ago, Democrats passed this new acquisition program on the Defense Committee, where I've sat for the last 15 years, and that was to say, listen, there's too much money being spent on defense, and a lot of it is going to waste, fraud, and abuse. We need to rein that in so we can save billions of dollars. And again, the two wars. We need to figure out how to really get our troops out by 31 December of this year in Iraq, and how to win whatever that looks like in Afghanistan, and get our troops back and start to concentrate on the domestic front and get out of spending all those billions halfway around the world in a war.
Okay, you guys are, you're obviously going to be heading back to Congress. We just found out that Jane Harman is expected to announce tomorrow she's stepping down. Did you guys know this? She's going to become president and CEO of the Woodrow Wilson Center in Washington, D.C. I mean, she does come from a reliably Democratic district. Did you guys know this was coming? Had she spoken to anybody?
I certainly did not know it was coming. She's a great member and a wonderful colleague. We are going to see some retirements as a function of being in the minority. I don't think we're going to see all that many, but we will see some. But she's a great member. She's been a terrific voice of national security, and
intelligence. Very important stuff right now.
She's one of the three women. There's three of us in the Blue Dogs, and that's why we're here in New York this week. Gabby Giffords, of course, one of them. Jane Harman and myself. So it's really sad when we see a very strong, very fiscally conservative, really strong woman like that go off. But Jane is so multi-talented, and she will really bring a new eye to that institute and really help us in the long run as Americans.
Have you guys been hearing how Gabby's doing, how Congresswoman Giffords doing?
We've been, hearing certainly secondhand that her progress is really remarkable, and I think we're still in kind of a state of shock about what happened to her and disbelief, but
it's a long way.
She is tenacious. We were on opposite sides of an issue last year, and it only increased my respect for her. She's smart, she's tenacious. She's going to need all that tenacity to recover from this, but if anybody can recover, it's her. And I know we look forward to the day. It's going to be a very happy day when she walks back on that House floor. We
hope that sooner rather than later. But you know, people don't realize it's really a difficult thing to have happened, and it's going to take her some time to rehabilitate.
Well, we're all going to look for that day. Congresswoman Loretta Sanchez, Congressman Adam Schiff, thank you both for coming in.
It's a pleasure.
Enjoy your time in New York.